Hello and welcome here to Guadalajara, the first of our Facebook Live and YouTube Live competitions. We've already seen some great jumping though over about the last day and a half, and this forms a bit of a 2-week tour now. They had some great jumping last week, but this week it's all about the focus on the Longines FEI Jumping World Cup at Guadalajara. That takes place on Saturday. I'm Adam Cromarty. Great to have you with me if you are joining us on Facebook Live or on YouTube. And don't forget, you can get involved with the conversation. If you're on YouTube or you're on Facebook Live, you can ask questions. Let me know where you're watching from as well. And if you want to leave any good luck messages for the athletes, then you can do that as well. And I'll be reading some of the best ones out as things continue on here through this afternoon. But you can see a great overview of the venue there. The athletes backstage, they're getting warmed up, they're getting ready. And Guilherme Jorge of Brazil is our course designer here this week. And of course, many of you know Guilherme. He's built all over the world. He's built at the Olympics, and he's probably one of the riders' favourites, actually. He's been on great form recently, building at various venues. So an interesting course, and we'll take a look at that in a little bit more detail when we get that first horse on course in just over 5 minutes' time. It's a 3 p.m. start time locally here. So just a few minutes away from seeing that first combination come through at the archway and getting us underway. 29 in total starting here, and of course this is a competition that gives us a great view of what we're going to be seeing in the World Cup here on Saturday. They have to be jumping in this one if they want to qualify. If they want to get through, then they'll need to be completing today's competition. But as always, some great names involved here in Guadalajara. We've got the local ones like Francisco Pascal, him and his brothers very heavily involved here in the organisation of this event. Mario Oñati, he's involved with the organisation of the World Cup in Lyon, which we'll see in a couple of weeks' time. Paola Melibia, she's got some great horses here. She's going to be featuring about halfway through our drawn order. Rodrigo Lambre. A few nations represented, a quite dominant Mexican field here, but we've got some from Argentina, Israel, Australia and Brazil, all represented here in the Copa Audi-Scappino, the Longines FEI World Cup Qualifier. This is the one that qualifies to get them through on Saturday. Already lots of you joining in here and letting me know where you're watching from. Judy Campbell is watching from Washington State in the USA. We've got Davina all the way over in Ireland. I bet it's a lot colder where you are, Davina, than it is here. We've got Steen watching in Denmark, Danielle watching in Missouri, Martin Michael watching from Ireland as well. Mary is in Ocala, Florida. I'm going to Florida next week, down to Palm Beach, and I've heard that the weather is terrible down there. Hopefully it gets a little bit warmer. Over on the YouTube kind of things, the King's watching in Manchester. The Horse Channel says, on my pony in Wales, watching on YouTube. Please don't fall off while you're watching, especially if it gets really exciting. But if you have just joined us, we are live on the FEI YouTube channel. We're live on FEI Jumping on Facebook, and you can get involved with the conversation. Let me know where you're watching from. If you've got any questions about the competition, about the riders, or anything else you want to ask, actually, then you can definitely do that. Just stick it in the comments section and we'll read some out as things continue here this afternoon. But just a little under 5 minutes away now from starting with that first combination coming through the archway. And this is an event that's been on the calendar now for quite a few years. One of 2 World Cups that's held here in Mexico. That'll change a little bit next season. We'll just have one here in Mexico, and it will be at this venue. But always a great atmosphere here in Mexico. And quite often, you know, we get a few riders coming down from the USA and stuff, and, you know, the Mexican spectators, the owners, and everyone else sitting in hospitality are all so supportive of these athletes, no matter where they are from. So you'll be hearing lots of cheering coming from the grandstand, coming from hospitality here this afternoon as well. But as I say, just a few minutes away now. Keep those questions, keep those comments coming on Facebook and on YouTube, and we'll take a look at the start list and stuff in just a second. Course-wise, though, we've got 12 numbered obstacles out there, 15 efforts, and Guilherme Jorge has measured this at 73 seconds. But we'll take a look at the course when we get the first one on track in just a few minutes' time. But certainly some big testing lines out there. Nice and flowing to start off with. The final line, I think, could be a bit of a heartbreaker. It's got a triple bar down to a skinny, but you know, the athletes that we get here, all quite experienced. Quite a variety of horses coming through in this one as well. We've got some of the horses that have been to Nations Cup finals and stuff, and you know, World Cup finals. Then we've got some of the younger horses, the 8-year-olds, the 9-year-olds that are really starting to, you know, step up now. And this is a great venue, actually, if you've got younger horses to bring them, because they've got such a variety of competition. They've got some young horse competitions nationally, and then we step up to the FEI with the metre 45, and then the metre 50, which is what we're going to be seeing here today. And then, of course, the World Cup here on Saturday, which is the biggest competition of the week. We've got a few obstacles in there at 1 metre 60. But the competition today, 1 metre 50 in height. 12 numbered obstacles, 15 efforts, and time allowed of 73 seconds. Quite a unique arena, this one as well, actually. It's kind of a strange shape, and there's a tree kind of right up at that top right-hand corner. And that's a great addition, actually, because the course designers always use that. But let's have a look then at that start list. You can see we get underway with Rodrigo Lambre. Then we've got Matt Williams in there, Simon Naziri. He's got some nice horses at the moment. Salvador Oñate, always got a great string. As I mentioned, Fran Pascal, he's involved here, part of the organising committee. But a great representative of Team Mexico as well. We've seen him at lots of championship level competitions. And as the start list continues, a little bit further down, we've got people like Lorenzo Farrell's in there. Who else have we got? Manuel Alvarez, Luis Alejandro Plasencia. He's one we see at Spruce Meadows quite a lot. As I mentioned, you know, Paula Amalibia, she splits her time between Europe and North America. We've seen Francisco Pascal. We've got Patricio Pascal as well. That's his brother. 3 brothers actually ride. We've got Fran, Patricio, and Gerardo as well. Antonio Maurer is in there. He's been part of the team here for many years. Then as we get, of course, towards the end, we see those athletes with 2 horses bringing forward their second ride. There's about 29 or 30 coming forwards here in this first round of the competition. It is a jump-off format, though, so any tie for first place after the first round means we will be going to a jump-off against the clock. And I'm sure, you know, looking at what we've got, we're going to end up with a jump-off. If I had to guess, I would say about 6 clears, but you might disagree once we've seen that first one on track. I'm sure you'll let me know. But the warm-up not too far away from the main ring here. And from where I'm sitting, I can just see them in the warm-up there. Our first one just, you know, putting in those final couple of fences. And then they'll be coming forward to join us here. But Guadalajara, always one of the favourite destinations. People here really friendly. There's some fantastic restaurants, which I rather like. And the hotels within walking distance. What more could you want? Because, you know, these athletes are up at the crack of dawn with these horses, especially because there's such a variety of competition here. You know, some of the riders have got 5 or 6 horses competing all day long. And the first one here started about 8 o'clock this morning. That's the warm-up, actually. You can just see it at the back of the picture there. And then a great view of hospitality as well. And there's that tree I was mentioning as well. Such a nice feature. You know, the course designers use it with the question, the test, and the lines that they set. They send them around the back. But we can now take a look at that course in a bit more detail, because we're about to get the first one on track. It's going to be Rodrigo Lambre who gets us underway here today.
Representing Brazil, Rodrigo Lambre aboard Chapilot.
Chapilot is going to be our first horse. This one we've seen jump quite a lot of the bigger competitions. It's a 13-year-old gelding by Chaco Blue. Out of a pilot mare, this one. Rodrigo, a real nice rider. His wife Caroline, very supportive as well. But he's making his way round to the first, so let's take a quick look at this track. And we start over that kind of green and white oxer. As we land there, it's right-handed, bit of a curving line, setting up nicely to get that cut across here, those white rails. And although all they have to do in the first round is get home within the time allowed and leave them up, you can see them thinking about that time allowed and making those economic turns. Bit of a power line down there. Oxer at 3, Oxer at 4A, and then we come out over the upright at 4B. This is an interesting turn here, actually. You can see it's a bit of a rollback, so depending on the horse they have and how experienced the horse is how much room they're going to be putting in there as they bend back round. Then they're straight down into that Oxer. Now coming down towards a triple combination. You can see Rodrigo just, sitting up, using that upper body, making his horse back off and give enough room into the triple combination. Put in a great performance so far. then comes down towards this final line. And this could be a bit of a test in itself. You've got the powerful treble bar, then you really have to sit up, and you come down towards that skinny upright. And you can see that is the question that's being asked there. So we'll finish on the 4, 68.72. Rodrigo Lambre and Shapilo gets us underway. Finishes on 4, but it gives us an idea of the time allowed as well. That's 73 seconds. And Rodrigo comes home in 68.72. Foot perfect as well, all the way around to the final line. And, you know, even walking that before the competition, that was always going to be the question down there, because that treble bar really opens them up. Then you've got to sit up and make them wait down to the last. Matt Williams comes forward next. He is going to be taking us to Australia. Big Casanova's the horse he's got. It's the 10-year-old by Contendro. He grew up in Australia riding there, moved to the UK in 2004, with a lot of great input from Duncan Ingalls and his team, and then moved to the USA in 2011. And now spends a lot of time in the Netherlands, actually. Very unlucky, just taking the first. Long way home from there. So sits on 4. Not a real experienced athlete. He's been to the Olympics on 3 occasions. He's been to the World Equestrian Games. You know, this is a horse that Nicolas Pizarro campaigned a little last season. We saw him at Spruce Meadows over the summer. Matt competed it for the first time here just last week and didn't do too bad, actually. Finished on 9 faults. He's stepping it up this week and just not going to plan. See what he decides to do here. Is he going to stick his hand up, or is he going to get organised and continue? Because it's a new ride, I think he's going to continue, but he knew he was out of contention. You know, he was on the 8 faults, so he's quite right just to pull up there, put in the circle, regain that rhythm, get himself organised, and hopefully now he can just give the horse a nice finish. But to compete this for the first time last week, to step it up this week, I know he thinks a lot of the horse. They're just kind of trying to get to know each other at the moment. Because he's out of contention as well, and because he has, you know, put in that circle and had the other faults, he's really steadied down now, just giving himself enough room to get organised for these questions and tests out there on course. He's given it a real nice ride now. See those time faults just starting to tick up. Catches the back rail. And takes the last as well. So, you know, not the ride he would want, but for a new horse, once he got organised, there's certainly a lot to like there. We look forward to seeing how that just builds and builds over the following weeks and months. But Matt Williams today finishes on the 28, 101.93. See, he's got quite a lot of scope. That just takes a little check down through the double. Same here, he was saying wait, and still just arrived a little bit earlier than he'd hoped to. Simon Naziri then, waiting in the wings, about to get underway. He represents Israel with the 10-year-old stallion Quinn. Team Israel just really growing in strength, have qualified for the Olympics for the first time as a team. This is a horse he jumped in the Grand Prix here last week. This is 2 weeks of competition here in Guadalajara. So they've got an FEI show last week, and now this is the second week, and this is the one that features the Longines FEI Jumping World Cup that we're going to see here on Saturday. Simon Naziri off to a good start here, and this is a horse he got from Katrin Eckermann. Brought it out for the first time in 2019. For those that do follow breeding, this one by Verdi TN. Just catches that upright coming out. Again, that's a bit of the question on that line, because you know you've got power at 3, power coming in at 4A, and then quite a delicate vertical as you come out over 4B. With the number of horses that are competing in the competition today, if you want to get in to the World Cup on Saturday, all you have to do is complete. As well, so sits on 8 at the moment. A couple of fences left, and this line's caused a couple of issues so far. Let's see how Simon rides it. You can see he jumps in, he really uses that upper body, says come back, and another one catches it.
3 out of 3 there, taking that final one down. Simon Naziri finishes on 14 today, 79.97. Having a look at a few of the comments on the FEI YouTube channel here. The eager equestrians watching all the way over in New Zealand. Maddie's watching in the USA. The Horse Channel says, is there any UK riders joining? There's no UK riders here, but I think if you watch next week when the tour heads on to Palm Beach, the Palm Beach Masters, you'll see some UK riders riding there. Let's get the next one underway though, and it's Jose Maria Quintana and Cristiano T. Another one for the home nation. The youngest rider we've got in the field today. He's just 17 years of age, turns 18 in April. He's already been representing his country. Just a little rub on the back bar of the oxer there. Yeah, he was at the North American Youth Championships the last couple of years when they were in New York. Those championships moving this year though. And they're heading out to the Great Lakes Equestrian Festival in Michigan, their new home. This is a relatively new ride for Jose. Saw them out for the first time together in October last year. But, you know, 17 years of age, he's got the horsepower, he's got the talent. Sits really nice and quiet and just takes those checks or puts his leg on when he needs to, and you can see that horse really responsive, really listens to him all the way around there. Recovers nicely coming out. I think Guy, our course designer, though, I think he's done a tremendous job, and although, you know, we've seen a couple of issues here and there, that one's coming down as well, so he sits in 12. I still think we're going to end up with 5 or 6 clears. Just drift slightly right on that distance, and that'll certainly mean you have that one down there. You can see I'm just trying to keep him nice and straight, but he just drifted down in towards that skinny vertical at the end. So it's going to be 18 here today, 77.09, but you know, just 17 years of age, relatively new ride for him. I'm sure he's going to be disappointed, but so much promise and so much talent.
In a time of 77.09.
Well, plenty of people joining us on Facebook Live and on YouTube. Keep those comments coming in. Having a look at the FEI YouTube page, and now looking over on Facebook as well. Who have we got? Cara's in Florida. Who else is there? We've got Nicola Keen's just joined. Malibu's watching in Malibu. Is your name Malibu and you come from Malibu? That's a fun fact. Salvador Oñate on track. This is Happiness. Again, rides for Mexico. His brother Mario also represents Mexico in the teams. He'll be jumping a little bit later. He's got some great horses at the moment, as Salvador. Probably best known for Big Red. That's the one he took to the Central American Games. Finished third individually, and part of the team that took gold there in 2018. This horse is cracking though. It was really consistent at Spruce Meadows last summer. Had a win here last week. And this is a horse that Daniel Deusser's campaigned for quite a while in Europe and the Middle East before Salvador took over the ride. He's 13 years of age. It's a real kind of forward one horse, quite a hot type. But it suits Salvador perfectly. Quite simple tack, just with that kind of loose string snaffle, it looks like. You can see he just really eats up the ground. It's always thinking forward, and Salvador just has to manage that, especially down here. Go on, hold it. Takes the last. You can see that look of desperation. That has been some line so far. 71.92, finishes on 4. So tied at the top on the 4 faults. We've got 2 on 4. Rodrigo Lambri, who did exactly the same as Salvador Oñate. So they're tied at the top now, sitting on 4. And if we didn't see any clears, then we'd go to a jump off with those 2 on 4. But I still think we're going to see 5 or 6 as things continue here this afternoon. Tanya's just joined us from the UK.
Ellie Dresner says, how is everyone? Yeah, Ellie, how is everyone? Janie says she's good. I'm glad. But don't forget, if you do have any questions about the competition or about the sport, or you want to send any good luck messages to these athletes, you can do that. Just drop it in the comments section, either on Facebook Live or on YouTube. Francisco Pasquale now. Coronado, his first of 2 rides in this competition here today. Could he be our first clear, though? Mexico is really just growing from strength to strength. The horsepower they've got at the moment. When you think of this rider, not only has he got this one, he's also got Naranjo, who won here last week. That's his gold medal winning horse. But this is the horse he took to Nations Cup finals last year. And it's really useful. Jumped it in the Nations Cup at Dublin. Had some good World Cup finishes last season as well. And what a success story for him, because he took over this ride when the horse was just 8. He's produced it all the way up through the grades. You can see he just makes those minor adjustments, but then just kind of sits quiet and lets the horse do its thing. So he just sets it up, gets the power out the corner, and then just sits quiet in those final strides. Same again here. And I think he does have the adjustability down this line. No, he doesn't. He takes the last, 74.83. Just a little bit over that time allowed is 73 seconds as well. Francisco Pasquale and Coronado finishes on the 5, 74.83. But if I had to pick a horse that I thought could be adjusted down to that final upright, that would have been the one I'd pick. Love that horse. It was a shame. Finishes on the 5 in total. Just goes to show, though, time allowed, part of the test here. There's Paola Amalibia. Regular face here in Guadalajara. She's married to Federico Fernandez, who we'll see in a couple of minutes. He's coming in next, actually, I think. But Paola, from Spain originally, now rides for Mexico and has bases in Mexico City and over in Belgium. So, both Paola and Federico splitting their time between Europe and North America. She took this horse over to Europe with her last year, placed well in Falsterbo and La Coruña. Just had a couple of rails in the Grand Prix last week with it here. But that had been its first competition out this season, so I'm sure she's done whatever needed to be done. She is ultra competitive. Just look how much scope and ability this horse has got. Really clean through that front end, just snaps up. Oh, get up there. Now 73 seconds time allowed. Just keep an eye on that, but more importantly, let's just keep an eye on this last fence. You see her really fighting down there, and there she does it. There's our first clear, 71.95. Clear round for Paola Amalibia.
El primer cero, la primera pista limpia para Paola Amalibia Chacmalún en el número 1, Paola de Simpatía. We have the first clear round, Paola Amalibia Chacmalún, number 1 to the jump off. En la pista tenemos de México, vamos a ver lo
fantastic effort there from Paola. So 71.95, it is our first clear. Will we get a jump off? I think we will. I think we're going to see 5 or 6 clears as things continue here. We now have a leaderboard though, because Rodrigo Lambri slips into second, fastest of the 2 on 4. Salvador Oñati behind him, sitting in third. Jose Alberto Martinez is next with Quinley, who's the 11-year-old gelding by Quintero. Jose followed his dad into the sport. He's a local rider based right here in Guadalajara. And he's someone we've seen at a couple of World Cup finals. He was third in the Grand Prix here last week with this horse. Great to see so many of you watching as well. Miranda's talking about Paola's round saying nicely ridden. Victoria says, wow, yeah, it was a great ride. Sheila says, wonderful ride. Bravo, says Samuel. Darlene says, oh wow, this one was perfect. Judy Campbell says, great ride as well. Alan just catches the first part of that triple combination there. So fastest 4 fault round we've seen 68.72. And depending on the tactics and the horse they've got, they'll just keep that in the back of their mind. You know, they're all thinking about the Longines FEI jumping World Cup Guadalajara. That's a mouthful. That's here on Saturday, so they're thinking about that competition. But they're also thinking about the prize money today, but just takes down that last fence, so we'll finish on the 8, 72.86. But you know, for those that have the horsepower, and they are looking to get a good slice of the action today, if they do have a rail, you might just see them put the pedal down a little bit.
En la pista tenemos al número 9. Representando a México, Luis Alejandro Plasencia, que monta Elton ML.
Luis Alejandro Plasencia comes next. He's a top athlete. He's riding Elton, represents Mexico. Elizabeth says, what's needed to be able to compete at a show like this? Do you have to have an invitation? Is it top rankings in that country? For this one, you can just enter. It's as simple as that. Obviously, you've got to have the right horse, and you've got to fulfill all the requirements in terms of, you know, passport and vaccinations and stuff. But there are some competitions where you do need to be, you know, in the top rankings, because that's how they work, their invitation system. But for this one, if you've got the horse, you're welcome to come along. Once again, though, thanks to everybody who's getting in touch. Great to have you getting involved with the conversation here this afternoon. Sadly, Luis just on that fairly early 4 faults. He was a rider that's part of the team that took gold at the Central American Games in 2018, and this is a horse we've probably seen Luis's partner Sofia Laria ride a little bit more than he has. You know, he's really starting to push it up the grades now, and it's not a bad round, to be fair. 68.72 fastest to the 4 falters. He's not going to be quite that quick. But let's see how he tackles this final line. Yeah, jumps it nicely. 71.28, so goes into 3rd place. 2nd fastest to the 4s, into 3rd for Luis Alejandro Plasencia and Elton. So we've seen 9 combinations gone so far, 19 left to come. And Paula Amalibia are only clear at this stage. Lorenza O'Farrell, she's been a part of the sport here in Mexico for many years, and boy, she knows this horse well. This is a horse called Queen's Darling. She thinks such a lot of this one. This combination was part of the team that took silver at the Pan Ams last year. Ended last season incredibly well with a win in Balvanera. And off to a great start this year, actually. Finished 4th here last week. Fun fact as well, her real first name's Claudia. Her dad gave her a nickname when she was little. It stuck. And then she officially changed her name. And there you go, fun fact. She's got the experience, she's got the horsepower. She could give us a jump off. Serum to just fight a little bit down to this power line. Knocks her, you want to be riding forward, but then you've got that vertical, just comes at you so quickly. Yeah, handles it perfectly though. Careful of that time allowed of 73 seconds, maybe just slightly steady around that top corner. As well, just adding a little stride here and there can all add up. Devastated if she left them all up and then had a time fault. 10 seconds to get home. She should be okay. Don't know, she just added a stride around that corner. Going to have to work down to this now as well. Yeah, gets in a little bit close and just ticks over that time allowed, 73.18. I think she would have been okay if she just kind of pushed forward around that corner, but just added that stride in, and that's all it takes to get over the time allowed, but then takes that final fence down, as so many have before her, and she will finish on 5 here. Lorenzo Farland, Queen's Darling, 5 in 73.18. Still just one clear. Show Jumping Dreams is watching in Tennessee. Got someone watching in Russia, but I'm afraid I can't pronounce your name because it's in Russian. Who else have we got? Maddie in Florida as well. Minnie's watching in Ohio, or in the United States of America. Carolina says, I'm going to the World Cup finals in Vegas. It's going to be fantastic, Carolina, in April. So much to do in Vegas as well. And you can see dressage and jumping, the World Cup finals, and they're just a couple of months away now. 4 qualifiers left for the athletes to try and get there. One of them, of course, being here on Saturday, and you can watch that on FEI TV. But Miguel Torres is already underway. Jacendra, he's no stranger to the World Cups. Jumped the World Cup here last season in Guadalajara. This is a horse by Chaco Blue, probably one of the favourite stallions that's out at the moment. You see so many Chaco Blue horses on the circuit. This is on quite good form. Had a top 3 finish here last week. You can see how careful it is. It doesn't want to touch a rail. Gives them plenty of room. Very elastic. So he just takes a check, sets up for the triple combination, then sits quietly. Time allowed 73 seconds. What's he going to do? Come on, look at the clock though. Just over 74 seconds. Obviously, you know, news is fed backstage that that final line has taken some riding. They don't want to come into the triple bar with too much power, because then you've got to try and contain it as you land down towards the skinny. I think he maybe just got a little bit deeper than he wanted to into the triple, maybe just took a extra check round that corner. So easy to do though when you're thinking about that skinny. That little stile is the last fence. That was a shame. So he's going to finish on 1. Does put him in second place though. So still in great contention for a slice of the action here. Fabian Cianis comes next with a Mir. He's got a number of horses out jumping at the moment. He's got this one, of course. This is the 11-year-old gelding by Dubai. He's got one called Ideal. He's got Temple. He's got Las Palmas. But this is a horse that John Perez has been campaigning. New ride for Fabian though. It's their first competition together. So it's going to be really interesting to see how they get on. More people joining in as well. We've got someone in Moscow, someone in Brazil. Carissa's watching in South Africa, where it's 11:30 at night. Great to have you with us. Remember, if you are watching on the FEI YouTube channel or Facebook Live, you can get involved, ask any questions, comments. Let us know where you're watching. Just stick it in the comments section below. Again, this is a brand new ride, so he's had that vertical early on. I've ridden it at home, no doubt, but their first competition in the ring. I'm sure you would have loved a clear round, but I don't think he's going to be disappointed, because, you know, these are just tiny little mistakes. Recovers well at the triple combination, little rub on that Purina fence off the corner. But for a new horse, this final line is going to be a really good test, because he's going to have the power coming in for that triple. And then he's going to have to find out how adjustable this new ride is. Little wiggle. But yeah, handles it nicely. It's like a brand new ride. He's going to finish on 18 here today, 80.95. Going to be a touch frustrating for him, but he's not going to be, devastated with that. Brings it in the ring for the first time, gets round and tackles the line that a few have had troubles with, even with that little wiggle. So we'll keep an eye out for them in the future. You just kind of struggle to keep the horse on its hind quarters coming down. It just maybe went on the forehand ever so slightly. This is Alberto Sanchez Gozar next, Union de la Nutria. Experienced horse, experienced athlete. It's a horse he's produced up through the grades. He knows the horse so well. Got a top 10 finish at Spruce Meadows with this horse last summer. Similar placing here in the World Cup last season. 12-year-old gelding by Diamond de Semele out of a Cannon mare. Let's see how he gets on. Jata's watching in Helsinki. Katrina watching in Germany. Eileen McDermott says, could you add the breeding if possible? I'm trying to remember, Eileen. I have been doing it for most of them, I think. We've got Jenna watching in North Carolina. Lana's in Maryland. Sarah's in Tennessee. Christina's watching in San Antonio. Lysette in Swan Hill, Australia. Sally Fitzgerald in Australia. Salsija in Chicago. Jagoda in Poland. Great to have you all with us. Back to this horse now, and it's clear so far. Comes down towards a triple combination. It's another one of these horses that just thinks forward all the time. Sets it up off the corners and then tries to sit quiet. Should be okay for the time. He's just got to worry about the skinny fence. You can see him really fighting down there, but he gets the job done. And we have a jump off, 70.69, second clear comes from Alberto Sanchez Gozar, Union de la Nutria jumps clear. So we've got Paula Melibia for Mexico, and now Alberto Sanchez Gozar for Mexico as well, guaranteeing that jump off for us here.
Alberto Sanchez Gozar and Union de la Nutria, second to the jump off.
Kayla's joining from Croatia. Carrion's watching in the UK. Nikki's watching in Little Compton. Cassandra says bravo about that last round. Heidi says loving the live action from San Diego. Great to have you with us, Heidi. Judy Campbell says good ride. And Antonio Maurer comes next with Chapela. Antonio, very experienced. He's an Olympic rider, a trainer, chef to keep. He was top 6 in the Grand Prix here last week. And this is an 11-year-old mare by Chaco Blue out of a Calypso mare. Antonio, actually another of the Mexican athletes that spends the summer at Spruce Meadows. He had numerous placings there with this horse. And you see so many of the Mexican riders make Spruce Meadows their home for the summer. Eddie's watching from Canada. Stephanie says great riding, talking about that last clear. Denise is in North Yorkshire. Donna Grant in Prince Edward Island, Canada. Joe's in Dallas, Texas. Chris Vera says amazing about that last one. Ashley saying these horses are so beautiful. But not the riders, Ashley. Is that what you're saying? Is it? Is it? Look at the ride Antonio gave this horse through that triple combination. Just eats up the ground. Catches the front rail on that Oxer. Sets up nicely here, but having to fight down to the last. Gets in close and just takes out that rail. So finishes on the 8 here today. Antonio Maurer, Chapela, 71.14, and finishes on 8. So that takes him into 9th place. Tanya's asking, are they riding with spurs? Are they not banned in lots of equine sports? Not really, to be honest, Tanya. In all the Olympic sports, spurs aren't banned. There are rules surrounding them, though. They have to be a certain length, and obviously can't be sharp or anything. And when the riders go out of the ring and before they come into the ring, there's a team of stewards backstage there and they keep an eye on everything just to make sure that, you know, the horse's welfare always right up at the very top of the priority in the equestrian sport. So there are rules surrounding spurs, but they are absolutely allowed to wear them, and you can see some riders like this one chooses to leave that little patch of hair on when they clip as well, just to give the horse a little bit more protection. You'll see some with belly bands as well, and the big neoprene bands that they wear on their horses. Mario Oñate on track now, the Zazu. Rides from Mexico. His brother Salvador also here, he jumped a little bit earlier. Zazu's a 12-year-old stallion by Kashmir van Schutterhof out of a Balabudura Way mare. This is a horse he got at the end of July last year. Peter Clements, who started the horse off, brought it over to North America in July, and now it's with Mario. 2 clears, 13 left. Still think we might end up with 5 or 6 clears though as things complete here. We're just over the halfway stage. Let's just fight and make little adjustments as he makes his way around there and catches the final part of that triple combination. Someone on YouTube Live asking, is there any rules about the types of breed that are allowed in show jumping? And again, there's not any rules about that. You wouldn't want to bring a Shetland pony in here. He needs to obviously be capable of jumping. You see on the majority they're all warm bloods. But no, as long as they can jump, as long as they can do the job, and he catches the last. But yeah, as long as they can do the job, you're welcome to bring them. 15 is the total today for Mario Oñate and Zazu, 82.92. That's his time. Pops him down to 12th place. There's always a minimum of 12 cash awards in any FEI jumping competition, so he goes into 12th at the moment. Again, to qualify for the Longines FEI Jumping World Cup Guadalajara on Saturday. Due to the number of starters today, all they have to do is complete, and he has done that. So I'm sure we'll see him back here in the World Cup on Saturday. Patricio Pascal comes next. Talk about talent, talk about experience. This combination have definitely got that. This is an 11-year-old stallion, a long-time partnership. Combination that finished 10th in the Grand Prix here last week. This is by Vivaldi. And if anyone is really interested in breeding and wants to keep up to date with the scores and stuff as well, you can head along to longinetiming.com, search for the event there, search for the competition. You'll see it says live, and you can get live scoring on there. You can also see the start list and the course plan as well, so lots of good stuff on there. You can get along to longinetiming.com for all of that. Patricio has produced to some degree, so what a fantastic job he's done. And as well as this one, he's got the other horse called Babel, and that's the one that he's done tremendously well with. This horse is really just becoming more and more useful every single season. Sweet. Super job. This one can get through. It is quick across the ground. It's quick against the clock. Come on. Time should be okay. Yes. Nice job. Patricio Pascal and Pomerol jump clear. We'll see them back for that jump off against the clock a little bit later on. Super job though, really, really nicely done.
Limpia para Patricio Pascal y Pomerol, número 3, Patricio al desempate.
And we have our third clear round of this class, Patricio Pascal and Pomerol.
Still some really nice combinations to come in the final 11, and don't forget jump off to follow as well, now with 3, all representing the home nation.
From Mexico.
Next one getting ready is Manuel Senderos. Cannabisar, the 11-year-old, jumped here last week in the meter 30 competitions to give it a little jump round after the time off I had over the festive season. Didn't do too bad at all, just at a time fault, but now pushing this one back up through the grades. Let's find out how he's going to get on here today. Sonia's just joined us in Rio. Maggie says that was an amazing round, they're so good together. Judy says beautiful ride, great horse. Cassandra saying beautiful ride as well. Kayla gives Pomerol a nice love heart emoji as well. So any questions, any comments, anything you want to say, stick it in the comments section if you are watching on Facebook Live or on YouTube. Well, just having that early rail, which is a little bit frustrating for him. Mentioned, you know, he was jumping meter 30s last week. He's now pushed it back up towards meter 50 today, and there's certainly areas on this course where it's jumped really nicely for him. Perhaps just ever so slightly flat at times. You can see him just working really hard just to keep it together. And again, that final one comes down. Just having a few communication issues around there. Manuel Senderos finishes on 17:76.20.
Para el mexicano Manuel Senderos y Cannabis R.
16.
Are we going to get any more? I thought 5 or 6 clears. We've got 10 left to come forward. Still think we could get those 5 or 6.
En la pista representando a México recibimos a Salvador Oñate que monta Chacalanda.
This could be another one. Salvador Oñate, Chacalanda. Back with his second ride, of course. We saw Salvador a little bit earlier and just had an unlucky rail with his first ride, so now comes back with a horse that he brought out internationally for the first time at this event back in 2018. Since then he's been bringing it on really carefully. It's another one by Chaco Blue. Dam Sire of Cento. Nice and economic round those corners. Thinking about that time allowed. Whoops it up. Now he's got to think about the recovery as he comes round this corner. Ashley Laverty says, I would love to come to a show like this and be able to watch in the stands. That would be amazing. Get your tickets booked, Ashley. This is a great one to come to, actually. Guadalajara is a really nice place, but Salvador Oñate decides to call it a day. You know, that horse has got a lot of experience in the ring, and he knew he was out of contention. He's already completed with his first ride, so he's good for World Cup on Saturday. So decides, yeah, just not my day. Lorianne's watching on Facebook Live. She's just joined in Panama.
Francisco Pasquel riding Manzano from Mexico, second horse.
Francisco Pascal, another one actually, who's already seen this course with his first ride. He finished on 5. I think it was the last fence he had in a time fault. But now he's back with Manzano, 12-year-old by Numero Uno. It's a horse he took on the European circuit last summer. We've seen him jump Grand Prix with this. We've seen him jump the Odd Nations Cup with this horse as well. But today just catches that upright. So sits on the 4. Sam is watching on Facebook Live and says Chaco Blue, great stallion. I think it's the most popular one at the moment. You see more Chaco Blue horses around than any other. Yeah. Fran says, yeah, I'm going to call it a day as well. We all have a bad day at the office occasionally, and just not quite liking the feeling he's got out there today. That's a real shame. But again, he's already completed this course with his first horse, so should be okay for World Cup this Saturday. He's gained a place for that. Jenny says, great decision by the rider to call it and save it for another day. Absolutely agree there, Jenny. Judy says, I had an Arabian gelding who was wonderful to ride.
Number 22 for Mexico.
Someone else from Rio. We've got Corin just joined us watching in Rio. So great to have you with us as well. Right, let's get Federico Fernandez underway then. This is a horse called Romeo. 6 here last week. Federico Fernandez, his wife, who we'll see again a little bit later. That's Paula Amalibia. She's already clear with one and got another horse to come. She did quite a lot with this horse when it was young. But now Federico has stolen it back. And it's just a 9-year-old still, but it got such a lot of promise. It's by Lando, out of a Cheers Cassini mare. Miranda's asking, do these horses have to pass a lameness exam? They do, Miranda. Every FEI jumping competition, usually the day before competition starts, all the horses are presented in front of a FEI veterinary delegate. So that's a vet that's here to represent the FEI, so not employed by the show. And they come in front of the ground jury as well, the president of the ground jury, which is the judges. And they have to trot up and trot down, and they're also checked against their passport as well. So the microchips are checked, identification markings and stuff are checked in the passport as well. So that makes sure that, you know, the horse is who they say it is. They check that the vaccinations are up to date, and then they have to walk and trot, turn at the top, walk and trot back. And then if there are any issues, they're allowed to represent once. So if the vet thinks, yeah, it's a little bit sore today, but let's try again, they can bring it out the next day in the morning. But then if it fails that one, I'm afraid they don't get to go. Oh, and just catches the last. We've seen a couple do that actually. 77.18, so he will get 2 time faults and then 4 jumping faults as well for that rail. So finishes on 6 there, Federico Fernandez and Romeo.
Federico and Romeo finished with 4 faults, 2 time faults, totaling 6 on a time of 77.18.
Some real heartbreaking stories out there today, and most of them about that final line. I still think Guilherme Jorge has done a fantastic job building here today. You know, there's questions here and there. The rails have been pretty spread out all over the place, other than that final line, and that's a real question. But this is one of the biggest competitions of the week here in Guadalajara. Quite rightly, clear rounds are having to be earned out there today. Jose Alberto Martinez and No Limit coming next, 14-year-olds by Necton. This is a rider we've seen at a couple of World Cup finals. We've seen him at the Pan American Games. He was actually jumping this horse in Grand Prix, then Ana Martinez had the ride. She dropped it down a few levels. And now Jose's got the ride, and it's coming back up towards the top. Trying to keep it thinking forward, but also listening as well. Could this be our next clear? Don't want to jinx him. And then 3 efforts left. Time-wise, looking fine. But he is going to take the final rail. Oh, and he is just over by 0.02 of a second, 73.02. Finishes on the 5 here today. Jose Alberto Martinez and No Limit. 5 faults is their total, but, you know, again, a real nice round, so much to like. And then just catches that upright. For me, I think you want to try and save as much time as you can in the first half of the course, and then that really takes the pressure off coming down towards that final line.
And on the ring, number 24 from Mexico, Luis Alejandro Plasencia, riding Mick Jagger.
Luis Alejandro Plasencia making his return, second ride for Luis. You might remember Rodrigo Lambri jumping this in the past. Now, of course, with Luis is Mick Jagger, the 12-year-old stallion. Another one by Chaco Blue. Luis has probably jumped this internationally about 12 to 15 times and always seems to be there or thereabouts. I really think he's a great talent. Setting up for this power line, he's thinking forward down this distance, but then you can see him setting up for the upright in the last couple of strides, coming down to that oxer. It's a shame he answered the test of oxer upright, then comes off the corner to a fairly regular oxer and just catches the bar there. A little bit down towards his triple. It's a real gymnastic question over there, but leaves it up, still sits on the 4. Fastest 4-fault round we've seen is Rodrigo Lambri. He's on 4 in 68.72. We might just pick up a time fault though. Oh, and catches that behind as well. You can see him checking in the last stride, and 74, 84, 8 jumping and a time fault for Luis means he will finish on 9 outside the prize money. Again, does complete, so we'll be okay for the World Cup qualifier here on Saturday. Tom Riley likes that grey. He says it's a great jumper. It is, Tom. It's got a lot of talent. And for some of these horses as well, they've all had a bit of time off over Christmas and New Year. So for some of these horses, this could be their first show out of 2020. Ginny says, last jump down again. Yes, it's that last jump. It's the big, powerful triple bar. Then you've really got to sit up down towards that skinny. Let's get Rodrigo Lambri on course. We just mentioned Rodrigo, actually, because he's the fastest of the 4 falters at the moment. But he's back now, hoping to be clear with this one. This is Darko's Promise. Second ride for him. Rodrigo's produced some really nice horses over the years. Got a great eye for a horse. I've never really seen him with a bad one. King's asking how many riders are left to go. There's 5 left. Yeah, he's just going to tip his hat today, Rodrigo Lambri and Darko's Promise. A little bit unexpected there from that combination, to be fair.
The rider retires.
Entra a la pista el número 26, representando a México, Alejandro Winkler, que monta E-Music.
Very unlike that combination. Anyway, we do have 5 left to come here, and Alejandro Leonardo Winkler is next. E-Music. This is an experienced horse. It's an old rider, Simon Naziri, who still owns the horse, actually. Alejandro has the ride these days. We've seen Derek Herons of Ireland. He had it for a while as well. 16 years old, this one. It's by for pleasure. Dam sire of Cafargo. But Alejandro, spent last year getting to know this horse, and now it's really starting to pay off. Let's see how he does. 3 clears at the moment. Paulo Amalibia, Alberto Sanchez Cozar, and Patricio Pascal. That's our 3 clears at the moment. Not many left to come. going to get away with that there, but does take the back bar off the oxer. Now, is he going to ride forward and try to get a nice piece of the prize money, or is he going to think about getting just a nice finish and then saving the horse for the World Cup here on Saturday? Let's see, because the fastest 4, as we know, sits with Rodrigo Lambri, 68.72. Just behind Rodrigo is 71.28, so that makes up the top 6, with the one time fault round we've seen in the 3 clears. Jess Dawson says lots of greys. Absolutely, Jess, that means lots of shampoo. And lots of early starts for the grooms, no doubt, as well. So still on the 4. Time's going to be okay. 72.31, and you know, to answer that big tough line down to the last, and then have the back bar off the oxer on the first double, that's going to be frustrating, but still he should be happy with that. He slips into 8th place. Ashlyn says way to go on Facebook Live.
En la pista tenemos de México a Juan Carlos Martín del Campo.
Don't forget, if you are watching on the FEI YouTube channel, or you are watching on the FEI Jumping Facebook page, then you can ask questions, leave comments, say hello, let us know where you're watching, all of that good stuff. You can stick it in the comment box. On Carlos Martin del Campo and Dimitri now from Mexico. 12-year-old gelding by Up to Date. I think Juan Carlos has got the strongest string now that he's ever had. This is a horse that he came from Eduardo Menezes. And I was just about to say, Juan Carlos has actually been making a really nice job of this horse recently. The horse might have just anticipated that left-handed turn a bit too much coming into the upright. Playful there, but he just settles it down nicely. Certainly got the scope, this horse. Just maybe a touch playful at times, and that's what I was saying, you know, when Carlos has been doing a good job, because he just kind of ignores that. You know, he still takes the checks where he needs to, and he just ignores that little playfulness, which is actually quite nice to have. Some of the best horses have got those little quirks, those little bits of personality coming through. So it's not a bad thing. Forward. Yeah, leaves it up. And home within the time as well, 72.60. Finishes on 4. So hopefully he's thinking positive, and I think he is. You can see the huge big pats he gives that horse, which is nice to see. But that's got to be frustrating to know that you've, you know, answered every single technical question out there, and then you just kind of lightly touch that upright and down it comes. But they got on really well together.
First of 3 to go, number 28.
And we get down towards our final 3 here, just 3 left. Bacon comes next. This is a pretty special horse, actually. It's by Chaco Blue, it's 12 years old. Won one of the opening competitions here last week. 4th in the World Cup here last year, and a top 10 finish in the World Cup in Lyon last season too. I tell you, this is another one that's quick and careful when it goes against the clock. So can they get there? Can they jump clear in this round and make it forward to that jump off? We'll have to wait and see. Lexi Merlos is saying, how high are these jumps? Well, this is, strictly speaking, a 1.50 m competition, but the course designer does have a bit of a tolerance. Just catches that upright coming out. I thought more would do that, actually. Not that many have, but he has and sits on 4. So yeah, the course designer does have a little bit of tolerance. Let's give some examples. The first bench is actually quite kind. It's sitting at just over 1.35 m. It was about 137 or thereabouts. The final line at triple bars, 150 high, 190 wide. The skinny one is 152 as they come out. But on average, the majority around there standing around about 1.50 m. And then we'll see some 160 fences on Saturday for the Longines FEI Jumping World Cup. Or if you want to watch that World Cup, it's only available live on FEI TV, so make sure you get organised with your FEI TV membership. Oh, really drifts right down that final line, almost jumps over the standard rather than the rail, but he's within the flag. It does count, and he finishes on 9 today, 73.27 for Andre Torres Hernandez and Chabacan. It's a bit of interesting fun facts for anyone that is new to the sport. You'll notice all the jumps have flags on, and if they were to jump the standard rather than the flag, it wouldn't count. So you've got to jump within those flags, and it's always right. The red on the right, white on the left. Gonzalo Azcárraga, second last to go. Rides for Mexico with a horse called Fabio. This is by Van Gogh out of a Solano mare. Gonzalo following in his father's footsteps. His dad was a great ambassador for Mexico show jumping, still is actually. He's still out there, still competing, but Gonzalo spending a lot of time in Europe with this horse last year. Brought it out here for the first time in 2018. He was fourth here actually last week. If you were watching from the beginning, you'll remember I mentioned this is now a sort of 2-week mini circuit here. So they've got an FEI competition running here last week. He was here. Some nice rounds and a nice fourth place finish. Clears at the moment. Paulo Amalibia, Alberto Sanchez Gozar and Patricio Pascal. That's the 3 clears. I did think we'd get 5 or 6. But there's a couple in there that really could have gone clear. Well, Miguel did, he just had a time fault. Rodrigo Lambre on the 4 faults, he definitely could have gone clear today. Luis Alejandro Plasencia's on 4, he could have gone clear today. Salvador Iñati could have gone clear. And we still could get 1 or 2 more. It's not over, still 1 to come after this. Sheila Wise watching on Facebook Live likes this horse. She says Fabio is a handsome babe. Certainly is. Siggy says this is a feisty one. He's certainly got plenty of blood. Oh, he almost got bucked off there. He's lost his stirrup as well, coming round to this big powerful treble bar. How do you fancy jumping a 190 wide treble bar with no pedal, and then comes down to the last, and he's clear. 72.75. Wow, that was pretty special coming down that final line. Almost gets bucked off, loses his stirrup. Remember, that triple bar stands at 150 high, 190 wide, and then he still has enough control down the final line as well to keep everything gathered together. Great job there from Gonzalo. So he's through. We're up to 4 clears now at this stage. Jenny's talking about that last horse, saying it's scopy. Miranda says it could be our event horse any day. Casey Beth Taylor says great job. Jenny says great job. Cassandra, good riding as well. Nat says wow. And we've got our last one coming on track now. Alejandro Mills, Chataga from Mexico. Randy saying feisty is an understatement. Blaine says that was awesome. Cassandra says naughty pony. Tracy says feisty. Malibu says great ride, Gonzalo. Absolutely, he is a top jockey. Alejandro Mills though, could he give us 5 clears? No, he couldn't. He has the first part of the double down, and it is going to be 4 that progress forward into that jump off in just a couple of moments time. And this could be some jump off, because all the horses going through definitely have the blood, definitely have the speed. They all eat up the ground. It's going to be wide open. Maggie says no stirrup November came in handy. Gonzalo's got such great balance. It is going to be 4 that's heading through. So if you are watching on Facebook Live, if you're watching on the FEI YouTube channel, let me know who you think is going to take the victory here. Will it be Paulo Amalibia, Alberto Sanchez Gozar, Patricio Pascal, or Gonzalo Azcárraga? That's the athletes that are progressing through. And the final one takes that jump that's caused so many issues here. He takes that down as well. So it's going to be 8 in 71.51 there for our last to go, Alejandro Mills and Chataga. So 4 clears progress. Then of course we've got Miguel Torres sitting on 1 time fault in 5th, and then plenty of 4 falters that actually on any other day could have gone clear. But, you know, some real testing lines out there today, especially that final line, the triple bar down to the very skinny upright at fence number 12. That certainly caused the most issues here in round number 1. But get in that comment section if you're watching on Facebook Live or on the FEI YouTube channel and let me know who you think is going to take the victory here today. Paolo Amalibia, Alberto Sanchez Cozar, Patricio Pascal or Gonzalo Ascaraga. It'd be a great story for Gonzalo after almost getting bucked off, jumping that line without stirrup, if he could come back and take the victory. And he's got a great position actually, because they come back in the same order as they jump clear in the first round. So that means Gonzalo Ascaraga will be last. Second last to go, Patricio Pascal. Paolo Amalibia is going to be getting us underway. She gave us our first clear, and sandwiched in the middle there is Alberto Sanchez Cozar. So we know it's going to be a win for the home nation of Mexico, but who is it going to be? Paolo, Alberto, Patricio or Gonzalo? Well, your options are coming in. Lana says go Paola. Esther says Gonzalo. Christina's edging her bet. She says Pascal or Gonzalo. You're being very political there, Christina. Just couldn't choose. Well, it says Gonzalo. Judy's going for Gonzalo as well. Siggy says Gonzalo did a great job. And Esther's being very nice, saying well done to all. Naja, Team Fabio. Over on YouTube as well, Little Miss says, I think Gonzalo. The Eager Equestrian says the course was pretty tough. It has to be, because this is a qualifier for Saturday for the World Cup. It's one of the biggest competitions of the week as well, so clear rounds definitely have to be earned. But I think on our very quick, unscientific poll, Gonzalo, I think, is coming out as your favourite on the FEI YouTube channel and on Facebook as well. But our course designer, Guilherme Jorge, you know, he's done such a tremendous job. He's built all over the world. He's built at the Olympics. And I think he did a great job today. We'll have a look at the jump-off course in a bit detail when we get that first combination on track. For those with a good memory of the fences from the first round, we're going to be starting over fence 4A. So that was that first double that we saw on the long side. So just the oxer, they're going to be taking the vertical at 4B out. As you land over 4A, we come round towards fence number 5. That's the North American League oxer. Then from here, you want to be turning back as tight as you like. It's a rollback turn. It's bringing you round towards the kind of brown, rusticy looking vertical at fence number 6. Landing here, you open up as much as you dare as we come down towards the first two parts of the triple combination. The upright coming in at 8A. One non-jumping stride through the distance, then out over the oxer at 8B. Left-handed round towards the Perina at fence number 9. Then we've got technically a new fence on course. It's going to be the kind of gold standards. That was an oxer in the first round. It's going to be changing to a vertical. So that's been renumbered as fence number 14. And then that final fence, fence 12, that caused so many issues in the first round, has been renumbered because it's much kinder in the jump off. It's now going to be an oxer, and that's going to be fence number 15. But again, don't worry, we'll take a look at that course and the turns and stuff once we get the first one on. There is only 4 heading through to that jump off against the clock. Some more guesses coming in as well. And Michael says Patricio Pascal to win. Sean says Alberto. Mine says Gonzalo. CR Training and Rehabilitation says Gonzalo. Claudia says it's for Mexicans heading through. It certainly is. The home nation's been so well represented here today. The King's going for Gonzalo as well. Mine says, I hope none of the jump-off riders look at the YouTube live chat. I think they'll be a little bit too busy getting ready to the jump-off. Jaden says, first time watching something like this. I'm on the edge of my seat all the time and it's awesome. Well, it's great to have you with us, Jaden. Thanks for watching. And there'll be another Facebook Live competition happening here on Sunday. And you can also watch the Longines FEI Jumping World Cup Guadalajara. That's available on FEI.tv, and there's tons of sport if you're an equestrian fan from all around the world, different disciplines as well, all on FEI TV. Callie says she's going for Fabio. Another one, Scarlett says Gonzalo. Natalie Stewart says after the way Gonzalo rode, he definitely has talent. Go Gonzalo. Well, you're going to have to wait right to the very end, Natalie. You can't go anywhere because he is coming in last. Amy's being very nice, saying well done to everyone on the leaderboard. And I think that's a good comment, Amy, because you know the talent they've got here in Guadalajara really is immense. And as I mentioned before, so many others could have actually gone clear. We could have ended up with 10 or 11 today quite easily. Alicia says she's gone for Paola. Dana's gone for Gonzalo. Cassandra says Paola or Gonzalo. And Nat says exactly the same, actually. She's gone for those two as well. Corey's gone for Fabio. Diane says Gonzalo. Jaden says Gonzalo. He's a pretty feisty horse that wants to win. He certainly does. It's got plenty of blood. But I think I mentioned this before as well, actually. All the horses that have gone through really eat up the ground. They've all got plenty of blood. And I tell you, these riders are so competitive. They know they've now got their chance to come forward here on Saturday, so they're not worried about qualification. It's all just about these placings when they come back. So they're all going to be riding competitively, all hoping to come out on top here today. You can see just the final preparations being made here. There's tractors in with the rollers and graders and stuff, making sure the surface is absolutely perfect for these four that have made it through. A couple of fences being moved out the way to help with those super tight and sneaky turns. And of course the timing equipment also being moved by our team at Longines Timing. And then that first combination will be coming forward. You can see the ring crew there doing a great job as well. He's managing to carry 4 poles. I couldn't do that. There's the start list on screen though. Again, they come back in the order that they jump clear in the first round. So that means Paola gets us underway. Then it's off to Alberto, Patricio and Gonzala. But Paola Amalibia will want to try and add as much pressure as she possibly can on, because she knows she's got some really quick ones chasing her. And Gonzalo has that opportunity to take it because, you know, he comes in last, he knows what needs to be done. But we'll find out what happens. You can see hospitality there. Pretty busy. Always a good atmosphere here. And I can guarantee you that these spectators, those sitting in hospitality, will be cheering for every one of these riders. Teresa's watching from Dublin in Ireland, and she says the First Lady rider, she's such a stylish, smart rider. She certainly is, Teresa. She's had some great horses over the years. She splits her time between Europe and North America. They've got a base over in Europe. They've got a base here in Mexico City. Any of them could do it, to be fair. But the ring pretty clear now. Those riders will be backstage. Just there they are, actually. That's the warm-up arena. You can see Paola Amalibia. She's just having a quick look over the fence, making sure she knows exactly where she's going to be going, because these athletes get to walk the course before the first round, but they don't get to come back in and walk before they jump off. So unless you're superstitious, it's always a good idea to make sure that you check out that jump-off course when you walk for the first round. But Paola Amalibia makes her way forward into the ring, and that means the track is set, the stage is set, and we are ready to get underway. Callie Shan's watching from sunny Scotland. I'm from Edinburgh originally, Callie, so it's great to have someone from Scotland watching on. Ashley says my call's for Paola for the win. Well, you've all had your guesses. I've been very political and not guessed, because I've got to see the riders after we finish here today. So I'm not guessing, but they all have the ability, they all have the horsepower, and it all comes down now to this jump off. And this is a great pathfinder. Paola has the experience, she certainly has the horsepower here today. And here we go, we start over 4 range, so that's the Oxer. From here, it's left-handed down towards another Oxer, the North American League. You can see her just taking little checks around that corner there. As we come down there though, it's a roll back as tight as you like, round towards this vertical. Nicely done. And you really have to open up as much as you dare down towards this 2 parts, the triple combination. She catches the first part coming in now. So a little bit of pressure taken off for the last 3, because they know if they jump clear, they're going to finish top 3 today. And from here, it's just gallop as fast as you dare. Remember, this was that skinny in the first round. It's now the Oxer. And she jumps it. So finishes on 4, 42.63. Paula Amalibia and Shaq Ballou just takes the one rail here in the jump off, coming down towards that double combination that was a triple in the first round. And you can see why Guy, our course designer, has turned that final fence into an Oxer. He's really daring them to gallop down to the final one. There's no way they could do that if he left that as a skinny. So a real sensible move from him. This could go right to the wire today.
The second rider to this jump up, representing Mexico, Alberto Sanchez Cosar.
Alberto Sanchez Cosar. Union de la Nutria. This horse has the scope, it has the blood. Casey Beth Taylor says good luck, everybody. Let's see how he gets on. Starts with that open canter, but certainly not going flat out. He's thinking about the turn, and thinking about this turn as well, but bounces it out the cups. Just fighting a little bit in the turn there. So he sits on 4 now. 42.63 and 4 faults was the result for Paola, so that's what he's got to chase now. Oh, and catches another one. So sits on 8. Down towards the latch. You can see he's steadied down now because he knows he's likely to be in 4th place. Finishes on 8, 48.07 for Alberto Sanchez Cosar, Union de la Nutria.
2 rails down, 8 faults on a time of 48.07.
That's a shame there for Alberto.
And Union de la Nutria.
Now, if you were Patricio or Gonzalo, what would you do? Because you know if you just leave them all up, even have a time fault, and you're guaranteed to finish top 2. Would you do that, or would you still try and put your foot down and take the victory? Well, I think these guys are going to be going for that quick round. Patricio Pascal knows Gonzalo's going to be chasing him. This is Pomerol. He knows the horse inside out. Certainly in with a chance here today. He's want to be adding on that pressure for Gonzalo. Setting up for this turn, but also setting up for the next turn as well. You don't want to go flat out to that Oxer, because as soon as you land, you've got to be rolling back round towards this upright. See him just having to put his leg on and say, come on. And I think that little bit of communication issue just caused that to come down. Well, we knew this jump off was going to be exciting, but it's for all different reasons now, because we know when our final rider comes forward, all he's got to do is leave them up and it's his. He is putting his foot down towards the last. 42.63 and 4 is what they've got to beat, but then he takes the final fence. 43.39 was slightly steadier as well than Paola Amalibia. But he will finish on the 8. Patricio Pascal, 8 faults, takes him into 2nd place with 1 left to come.
8 faults.
Now Gonzalo Azcárraga is in an interesting position as well, because he can go steady, he can have 3 time faults and still take the victory. However, if he goes for that route, if he decides to try and go slow and then has a rail late on course, there's no way he can catch Paola Amalibia. So I think he's still going to be riding forward. If you were watching in the first round, this was the rider that came round, jumped a foot perfect round, 2 away from home, almost got bucked off, lost his stirrup and jumped the final line with 1 stirrup. What a great story it would be if he can then come in and take the victory here. See how playful this horse is, bucking around the corners again. Again, he just sits really quiet, lets the horse do its job underneath him. See him looking for that turn. He can use plenty of space here. Clear so far. Nicely done. Two away from home. All he's got to do is jump this and he will take the victory. Cassandra says this horse is an athletic monster. It certainly is. Jumps the last though, and he has done it. 49.63. So he did go for that slightly steadier round here today, but that tactic really paying off for him, and he will take the victory. Gonzalo Azcárraga and Fabio take the victory for the home nation here of Mexico in the Audi-Scappino Grand Prix Qualifier. Fantastic first round, lots of twists, lots of turns in the story. And then we have four come forward through into that jump off against the clock, and it goes right to the wire. Maurice says special style Gonzalo. Christina says awesome. Ashley saying I really like this horse too, he's feisty and I love that. Cindy says well done, great ride. Natalie says amazing, I love the way they work together. Judy Campbell saying wonderful job, congrats. Malibu says congrats as well. Casey, wonderful job, great teamwork. Melissa saying Gonzalo, beautiful rider. Absolutely great job there from our last to go. You will take that victory here, and you can see that confirmed result on your screen now as well. Top four, of course, coming forward to the jump off, and the best of the rest, with our one fault round finishing in fifth, and then we go to the fastest fours to fill up that leaderboard. A huge thank you to everyone who's joined us, whether you've been watching on the FEI YouTube channel, on Facebook Live, or anywhere else you managed to find it. Thanks for joining us here and enjoying the competition in Guadalajara. Quick reminder as well, make sure you join us for the Longines FEI Jumping World Cup Guadalajara. It's only available to watch live on FEI.tv, and it happens on Saturday. So if you haven't signed up to FEI.tv, make sure you get yourself organised and you can join us there for that. And it's going to be a great one, because it's the getting down towards those final qualifiers, just four left. And then we've got the World Cup finals happening in Las Vegas in April. So some real valuable points on the West Coast Sub-League available here in Guadalajara. So make sure you join us for that this Saturday on FEI.tv. Well, our athletes getting ready then for the prize-giving ceremony here in Guadalajara. Not as hot as you'd normally expect here today, but I think the forecast for the weekend is for the sun to come out and to get a little bit warmer as things continue here, and I'm sure the sport will be really hotting up as well as the weekend progresses. But preparations being made for that presentation ceremony here, and congratulations to all the athletes. But what a story for Gonzalo Azcárraga. Gets the only double clear of the competition after almost getting bucked off in the first round, jumping the final line with one stirrup, and now comes forward to take that victory here today. So congratulations to him. The team get ready for the prize-giving ceremony. And again, thank you to everyone who's got involved with the conversation here. You can do that once again here on Sunday. On FEI TV, though, on Saturday for the World Cup. But for now, I've been Adam Cromarty. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll speak to you again very soon.
Pati Pacheco. tenemos a nuestros ganadores. Al ganador de esta prueba, Gonzalo Azcárraga y Fabio de México. Vamos a pedir al público se ponga de pie para entonar el himno nacional en honor de nuestro ganador. Gracias. Y ahora el presidente de la Federación Ecuestre Mexicana pasará a felicitar al ganador Gonzalo Azcárraga. Le vamos a pedir al arquitecto Rodrigo Gómez Vivanco, consejero de hípico del Guadalajara Country Club, pase a felicitar a nuestro ganador Gonzalo Azcárraga. La comitiva de premiación pasará a felicitar al segundo lugar de esta prueba a la mexicana Paola Amilivia Conchac Balú. El licenciado Cristian Rux Gavito, miembro de la Comisión del Hípico del Guadalajara Country Club. El licenciado Miguel Madero Blázquez, miembro de la Comisión de Hípico del Guadalajara Country Club, pasan a felicitar al tercer lugar al mexicano Patricio Pasquel. Ahora el cuarto lugar, Alberto Sánchez Cosar, recibe la comitiva de premiación. Pasarán a felicitar al quinto lugar al mexicano Miguel Ángel Torres Hernández. El sexto lugar de Brasil, Rodrigo Lambré. Rodrigo Lambré, ganador del sexto lugar. Al séptimo lugar de México, Luis Alejandro Plasencia. Al octavo lugar de México, Salvador Oñate. Noveno lugar para Alejandro Leonardo Winkler de México. Y el décimo lugar para México, representado por Juan Carlos Martín del Campo. Y bien, le vamos a pedir a nuestro ganador Gonzalo Azcárraga nos dé la señal para encabezar la vuelta de la victoria. ¿Estás listo, Gonzalo? ¡Vámonos! Ahí vienen nuestros ganadores: Gonzalo Azcárraga, Paola Vivia, Patricio Pasquel, Alberto Sánchez Cosar, Miguel Ángel Torres Hernández, Rodrigo Landrés, Luis Alejandro Plasencia, Salvador Oñate, Alejandro Leonardo y Juan Carlos Martín del Campo. Y ahora sí, para Gonzalo Azcárraga, ahí te va. Una vuelta, Gonzalo, para recibir el reconocimiento de aquí, de la gente que nos acompaña en el Guadalajara Country Club. Gonzalo Azcárraga.